Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you to Emily for inviting me to give a short presentation. And thank you to everyone for attending and taking some time out of your busy lives to come here today and participate in this really crucial conversation. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person. Now, I understand that Emily is going to look more closely at your local council policy as regards smart city technology and rollout. So I think it falls to me to give a more general overview of Agenda 2030. And you can thank the few people here who've actually heard of me and may have already watched some of my YouTube videos for sparing you my hugely exciting LED street lighting party piece straight from the lighting manufacturer's manual, replete with all the potentially and intended nefarious capabilities of this once innocuous neighbourhood installation, now patrolling the length and breadth of British streets, and streets all over the Western world, intended to form the backbone of a 24/7 track and trace surveillance network. It's an action-packed micro-series on the infrastructure that is intended to ensure that you are an obedient minion of your nearest facility, sorry, smart city, into which you will be herded by means of astronomical taxation and increasingly prescriptive legislation regarding private land and property. Smart cities will be advertised to you as fulfilling your every convenience, which may or may not be true, depending on how highly you regard the opportunity to do nothing. Nothing ain't worth nothing, but it's free. Only in this case, it isn't free. It will cost you your freedom. Because what smart cities are really intended to do is stack and pack the masses into 20-minute neighborhoods, where 20 minutes means 10 minutes to the perimeter digital fence and 10 minutes back. Um, I wonder if circumference running will come to replace cross country. Anyway, in your smart city 20-minute neighborhood, where all you had to pay for your convenience was your land, your property, and your freedom, but that's okay because you never have to flick a light switch again. It is planned that the residents, rent or borrow rather than own anything as part of a circular economy, which involves reusing their sensor-filled packaging in order not to exceed their carbon credit allotment, which is monitored by means of the Internet of Things and updated via their digital ID, and doesn't in any case credit them with enough carbon to fly anywhere. But that doesn't really matter, because all of the airports will be shut by 2050 anyway, in a bid to achieve carbon neutrality, absolute zero. Because getting rid of all the privately owned vehicles in favour of active travel wasn't enough to offset the gas that the plants use in order to produce the life-giving oxygen that all of us humans breathe. In a smart city world, every employer, your employer, will have an environmental and social governance score, which is effectively a social credit score for businesses, and it will be used by global multinationals to leverage a disproportionate say in how society evolves, because they'll withhold their social impact investment funds from any business or organization that doesn't toe the rainbow-hued carbon neutrality line. And this matters to you because your social credit score as an employee will impact on their ESG score, with your social capital and carbon credit compliance being taken into account, which means that you'll have to walk or cycle to work come rain or shine and weigh your leftover food. And I actually really did say that because Zero Waste Scotland is piloting a model where their employees weigh their leftover food in terms of what they're calling unavoidable waste, like banana peel, and avoidable waste, which I think is the new world order word for leftovers. And all of this to boost the social capital of your organization or business. Although rather than walk or cycle to work, they'd really rather prefer it if you worked from home in glorious Zoom-filled isolation until you are replaced by an automated service, at which point you can live on your universal basic income and spend time in the metaverse buying clothes for your avatar, rather than cluttering up the planet with your in real life social interaction, which is just so last century. And just to round off this heavenly existence where central bank digital currency, facilitated by means of an immutable blockchain database ledger of transactions, will have replaced our every opportunity to transact in private, It's important to understand that the intention is to create not just a carbon economy, but a data economy, where all of the surveillance data enables the very wealthy to predict how we, the communitarian masses, are able to comply with the greater good philosophy. And then they can gamble on the predicted outcomes of our children's attempts to navigate the technocratic hell which we have bequeathed them. For those of you who already know all of this, I thought I might take a moment to reassure you that you're not crazy. You are, in fact, living through that bit of history where the richest people in the world tried to effect a global governance coup in order to exert totalitarian control over the world's population and turn humanity into androgynous, bio-digitally converged automatons, unlikely though it may seem. Emily will go into policy in more detail for you as regards Manchester City Council. But regardless of where in Britain or indeed the Western world you are, knowing the New World Order buzzwords and their slight regional and national variations enables you, by means of a quick internet search, to illustrate that all of our councils are applying exactly the same, organically conceived, sustainable development, own goal driven philosophies, and using them to implement exactly the same policies. So all you have to do is put circular economy or LED street lighting or smart city or livable neighborhood or 20-minute neighborhood or Internet of Things into your search engine alongside the name of any Western city council. Do a little digging and you can begin to initiate a conversation, if nothing else, about how the fact that every council in the Western world is engaged in some sort of stage of implementation of these plans proves that these policies are top down and not in any way driven by the inherently individual requirements of any given rural or urban demographic. Now, if you've seen any of my videos, you will have seen that I use Glasgow City Council's website and associated policy to try and explain what each of these buzzwords mean. And I thought that since what I've said so far has been more about, me enjoying the opportunity that the New World Order provides for a bit of mediocre satirical wordsmithery, I might come away from the safety net of my script and try to show you something that might be useful to you. For which honourable aspiration I am afraid you will have to pay with an instant deterioration in the calibre of my patter. So from bad to worse in the blink of a screen share. Here we go. Here we go. Share. Right, everyone. This is Glasgow's Circular Economy Route Map. And I'm showing it to you. I'm going to read you all 121 pages. No, I'm not. See, you like me a little bit better now than you did before. I'm not going to read you the 121 pages. What I want to show you is that if I go over here, just a very, very quick search allowed me to see that Greater Manchester outlines plans for circular economy shift. And this is June 2022. The Greater Manchester Combined Authority has announced that its sustainable consumption plan has been approved. The plan aims to support the region's 5-year environmental plan, which was launched at the GM Green Summit in 2019. The plan underscores the measures necessary to move Greater Manchester's businesses towards a model that is more reliant on reusing and recycling materials. GMCA says it will also assist, I like that word, assist residents into making more sustainable lifestyle choices, part of the region's wider global wider goal of becoming carbon neutral by 2038. So there you have it, Manchester. If you didn't already know, you are to become carbon neutral by 2038, which is actually ahead of time. Most people have pledged, well, the overall pledge is 2050, but Scotland is aiming to do it for 2045. So it's very impressive, Manchester. You're going to do it by 2038. It's really important to talk to people about that because that's where the carbon credit economy comes in, and people really need to decide whether they want to live like that before 2038 in Manchester, because if they don't, then it will be decided for you and you will find that you are living in a world where you need to account for all of your carbon creation, if you like, and that you will be limited in what you can do based on whether or not you have enough, whether you've used up your allotted carbon for the month. So also, just really important to notice these words like, that the council is going to assist residents into making more sustainable choices. Do you want to be assisted into making more sustainable choices? I don't know. So Glasgow becomes a world-leading smart city. So this is just to show you Glasgow. Every city that I've looked up, actually, just to let you know, says that it's to become a world leader. And so I really don't. I guess that's just part of the profile of the wording that they want you to use if you while you're going ahead with this. Maybe it's to make everybody feel special, because if you look over here. We've got there Manchester announces a plan to become a world-leading smart city. So that's you guys. You're also going to be one. Isn't that fabulous? And if I just bring you down here, it says that Manchester can be a more inclusive, sustainable, and resilient smart city with digital inclusion and skills at its heart. I think it's your digital, I think in your council, it comes under your digital strategy or something like that. But I'll leave that with you guys. I'm sure you can find more information about it. This is Glasgow's low emission zone. And I'm just showing it to you quickly because this is a clean air zone proposed for Manchester. So you can see that even if the wording is slightly different, what it's called, it's in effect the same thing. And I was just in Bristol actually, and I came across their low emission zone. They have one too. This is livable neighborhoods in Glasgow. These can be referred to as 20-minute neighborhoods. I think they're C40 cities as well. But essentially, it's all the same thing. And here we have an Eventbrite invitation to the people of Manchester by Healthy Active Cities to come and have a look at a map where they have mapped out Manchester and Salford to get an idea of how 20-minute friendly neighbourhoods are. And you've to go along and find out more about the concept and find your neighbourhood on the map and talk to them about what could be improved where you live. So, the concept is everywhere. So it's unlikely that this is being generated by people in their local towns and villages talking about what they would like for the future, because the likelihood that they would all come up with sort of similar vocabulary is on so many issues across the board doesn't seem very plausible. Here we've got a reference to Glasgow City Council's LED lighting. Street lighting, it's everywhere now, by the way. I live relatively rurally, not in Glasgow anymore, and there's LED street lighting in the little village where I live. And just in case you thought you were being left out, there is indeed LED street lighting in Manchester. This was done in 2017. This article was written. You'll find that the LED street lighting, the funding for it started to become available around about 2015, 2016. And the idea was to have it implemented by about 2020. Because, as I said before, the LED streetlights form the backbone network or they provide the infrastructure for the sensors and the cameras and the devices that they will need in order to monitor people all the time. If you think about the fact that streetlights were everywhere largely anyway, and there's electricity running to each of them. So it's a really good sort of starting point if you want to
if you want to begin to try in some crazy way to actually monitor everybody's activity 24/7. And that leads me very nicely on to the Internet of Things, which is essentially what you kind of call that, where everything is connected to, every device is connected to the sensors and the street lights, so that there's kind of a centralized way of compiling all of the information and sharing all of the information. And it's the Internet of Things. This is Scotland's National Internet of Things network. And over here we have, Manchester, you're special. I've been to your city before and it's beautiful, and I know that you're special. But look here, you are also special because Manchester announced as UK's Internet of Things city demonstrator and awarded a £10 million investment. So, as part of a groundbreaking public-private consortium today, Central Manchester University Hospitals NHS Foundation Trust celebrates winning a national competition for Manchester to be the UK's Internet of Things city demonstrator. And it was awarded by the Department for Culture, Media and Sport, which I think might be called something else now. Might be some digitalness in there. But anyway, so there, if you scroll down a little bit, we can see that Sir Richard Lees of Manchester City Council said that he's delighted that Manchester has been selected as the UK demonstrator city to test and demonstrate how the imaginative use of smart city technology can make a real positive difference to our people and businesses. So you everything I googled, it was possible to stop share. There we go. Everything I googled, it was very quickly possible to come across Manchester's version of it. This is why it's really, really important right now for people to participate and to be aware of what's going on. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm not here to tell you what kind of future you really do want. I'm just here to tell you that the future that they, have conceived and intend to implement if we don't all get involved is not a future that I want for my children. It's not a future that I want for your children. So I really, really am grateful that you're here. And I really do hope that you can go out into your communities and share and share and share until we sort of develop a groundswell of interest, and reignite people's belief that the common man has power, because in fact we do. It was being said to me the other day, or I came across it the other day, that if you don't want smart cities built, then if all the tradesmen said that they weren't willing to do it, then that would be it. It would be done. And that's how much power the people have. So it's really, yeah, thank you so much for coming. And thank you so much for being interested. And I'm really grateful for your time. And I'm going to hand you now over to the other speakers, who I'm sure will be far more interesting than I was. But nonetheless, I do look forward to meeting you all in the Q&A. And for now, thank you for having me. Take care. And as always, I love you. Thank you. Bye.